What is happening, a bunch of builders, and welcome back to the channel. We bought a 1972 Mercury Comet GT from Copart that's obviously been burnt to a crisp. And in today's video, we're gonna try to get this thing to run. Okay, it is 8 o'clock in the morning. We are in North Carolina. Charlie? What? Pop and I are here to pick up a car. We got a smoking deal on it from Copart.
It's really old.
It's really old and what?
It's a really old car.
Yeah. No, so I kind of got.
And it's burnt.
Yeah, so I was kind of bidding on, on Copart, and no one had bid on it, so I bid the minimum bid and sort of forgot about it. And so here we are, got a notification that we won it, so we're here to pick it up. So let's see what we got. Good luck. Come up front.
Whoa! This thing is frozen. Can I touch it?
Yeah, I'll try not to get all nasty. Mommy would be mad.
Ugh. Look at this thing. That's squished. Daddy, look, it's squished.
Took some heat. Shaved, pretty solid car.
That looks bad. Look at
Oh, it's solid underneath.
Look at the antenna.
We gonna get this thing running and drive it or what? Charlie, you think we're gonna drive this car?
Yes.
Yes.
We're gonna fix this.
How'd they get this? Bend it. Oh my. That shows you how much it's rusted since it's been in here. Oh. Water pump's nice and free still. It's still got, this thing's gonna run. Oh God. I don't know what in the world we are getting into. Let's go and get this hood pulled off. Now I will say, I don't know the situation, don't know anything about it. The title came through a home insurance company. And so it's really sad. I hope that the family or whoever owned this, that everybody's okay. And but we are gonna try to get this thing running. This is definitely gonna be quite the task. May not be possible. We're gonna see how much burn the motor can take and still run. Let's go ahead and just get those off. You know, it looks like it was pretty recent that this happened. In the pictures, the Copart pictures, the car hadn't even rusted yet. It's amazing how fast bare metal like this starts to rust. But kind of the biggest thing here, even if we can't get it running, if it is savable, to try to pickle the motor, get it all soaked down so it doesn't rust. Because one of the big things that happens is all that heat, and then once it cools, as it starts cooling down, it creates condensation. So it may be just completely ruined, but it's worth a try. Wonder if that's original, if that's a mod you can do. We got the hinges freed up, and this hood goes almost straight up and down. Gives us a lot of access. Really lets us see what's going on here. Just jumping in. Battery. Just melted all the cables. Oh, they're just nothing left. See, it actually melted that Holly. That's a double pumper. Or was. Yep, double pumper. HEI distributor. There's the coil. So the water pump is free. One thing I did notice is we don't have tons of moisture in here yet. Our steering pump just melted away. Some wires left. Whew. I think probably the first thing to do here, let's throw some gloves on and just start trying to pull away everything we can from the motor. Go ahead and take the air cleaner off, pull some of this distributor-ness away, and maybe go ahead and pull these valve covers and see what it looks like underneath them.
Still a good one. That is true. Sheesh.
Drifting and dry, come down.
Grab that big old chunk.
Oh, wow. Wow.
It's a clean little motor.
It saved it in there. Holy moly.
It's got oil sitting on the rockers.
So he's going to be a runner. What is that? Taking a look here. This is like 90 plus 5.0 rocker arms. But that's what that is. That's roller rockers from a new car. So it might have a little bit newer motor, but wow. Surprising. It survived in there. Yeah, I'd like to get underneath this thing. Let's take a look at the dig hook on it. Under here, it definitely did some burning, but not near as bad. EOAE. Looks like it might be an 03C. Underneath though, this car is super solid, super charred. But man, it was a nice car. Because it could just have newer heads.
That's true.
Beautiful. Wow. To look so bad out here, it looks good in there. Now that doesn't mean anything about the cylinders, so we need to pull those spark plugs next.
Nice and smooth.
That's good. So it's definitely different for us. We don't know how recently this ran, but not nearly as long.
Clean. Clean, clean, clean. That's
Oh
eight.
wow, that's a healthy motor.
That's 8. 7.
Little condensation. Yeah, that's good. We opened it up. See, that's got moisture on it. Not bad. Little bit of moisture. Clean, clean, clean. All right, let's soak those down. Let's get a ratchet on the front of this motor. See if she spins over. Got that 15/16 socket on the side of the crank. Oh, that was a little tight, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was
Nah.
just tight right here.
Oh, I imagine it probably was.
Blowing something out there? I sprayed stuff down there.
That's water.
Is it really?
Yes, that's a slab full of water.
Okay.
Yeah, we got to get the starter on this thing today.
Okay. It did. It blew water out.
Yep, it's pouring water out. If we'd have waited, this car would have sat in Copart a little bit longer. I know sometimes it takes quite a while for these to move through. I think that motor would have been done because it is pouring water out of the cylinders, and that is just from that condensation. Thankfully, it hadn't had time to aerate much, and that's when your rust starts. So if we can go ahead and I'll take the cable off of the starter. Let's get a fresh cable on it. For now, we'll just jump it out because we obviously need a new, we need another solenoid. See what it does. Go ahead, got a cable on the starter. Yeah, it should be fine. All right, go ahead. All right, perfect. Yep. Whoa, yep. It's
got some water?
Sheesh. Well, I'm soaked.
Well, that's what you wanted it to do. Look at that rusty water. Oh my. Well, let's do it again.
That's why we had to do it. Yeah, stand back. Whoa, 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 whoa.
What? Oil?
It's pumping gas everywhere.
Oh, I smell it. It's fresh.
Wow. Yeah, it's just pumping gas.
Oh yeah.
Dang. So it didn't burn the gas in the tank.
Good.
That means the tank's good to go. Whoa, look, it already filled that up. That's fresh gas.
What's all down? Is that all water?
Yeah, that's
underneath?
all. Yeah, that's all water.
Oh my.
Yep. All water.
It filled that up, so it's connected to the tank.
So that just goes to show we pulled those spark plugs and they were completely rust free, other than I saw some water on one. So that's a good thing. That means this thing was still sealed up enough. The water hadn't started evaporating, because once it evaporates, that's when we create the rust. So I think we caught this one just in time. If it had been another couple weeks or maybe a couple months, this thing would have been one solid rust bucket in the cylinders. So I think it's gonna run. I think we've gotten it just in time. Now that we have most of that water pumped out, I'm gonna start soaking everything down with fogging oil, because now that the motor's spinning over, we need to find or order a distributor, get a carburetor, so we can try to fire this thing off. We need to do it relatively quickly. So what moisture, that's what this is for. We're gonna soak everything down the cylinders really good, and this is gonna keep anything, this is fogging oil like you use when you winterize your boats or your jet skis. And I'm gonna just soak everything down really good in here until in the next couple days we have all that come in. But I can't believe this thing's pumping gas.
You know what that proves?
What?
The movies are fake. They don't explode.
Yeah, they don't explode. You can have a car do this, and it's still got a fresh tank of gas in it. Never would have thunk it. Never would have thunk it. So since we're waiting on stuff, I had to go ahead and check the transmission. This would have obviously originally been a 3-speed. Now that we know the motor's been swapped out, we checked. And what was the code on it?
RUG space AG space 015434.
And that is a 1969 top loader 4-speed. You daggum straight. Top loader 4-speed. Well, that just made the car. Wow, that's so exciting. Now we can go ahead and rock this thing over to top dead center on the #1 cylinder. So this is your #1 cylinder. We want both these valves open as the piston comes all the way to the top, and or let me rephrase that, we want both these valves completely closed. As we come around to the top, and we'll see our timing marks down here line up onto that TDC, and then we can go ahead and pull this distributor. All right, hold on a second. See, we're both closed valves. Stick the screwdriver in there. There's our piston. Keep coming. A little bit more. All right, hold on a second. We see we go right in there. It's right at the spark plug hole, and let's start looking for that timing mark. We did have to clean it off, but you can see down in there. Oop. Go ahead, come on around. A little bit more. They put like reflective tape on it. Keep coming. There's our TDC.
Oh my.
That is not it. It lined up there. I was noticing our piston was not at the top. It is now at the top, but if you can see, I'm not sure you'll tell, it's way over there. So what that tells me is we have this is a 1980 date code block, so it has the 1980 timing mark up here, but it has the probably 72 balancer on the front of it, and so the timing mark would have been over here on that motor, and so that's why it's twisted there. So we've got it set on top dead center exactly, piston all the way up. We know we're pretty much where we need to be. Let's go and pull this distributor, drop the new one in, and we've got a pretty good idea where we're at. We should be able to get it to run, hear it, and we might have to figure out some kind of timing at that point. But at least as far as just visualizing here, I think our timing's pretty close. Oh, look at that.
Hey, dripped with oil. It's clean. It's pretty good in there.
Definitely lots of moisture. We are gonna have to, you know, that moisture that was in it definitely weeped down. Thankfully, it doesn't look like it's starting to rust anything yet, but we have to get it running. We're gonna have to cycle it. We need to change the oil. We gotta let it evaporate. Which means we might have to get somewhat of a cooling system on this thing. Whew. And here's our new Amazon special HEI. I figured that was the best bet. I do like factory style distributors, especially size-wise and everything. They just look a lot better, but with this one having a lackage of wiring, the easiest thing is going to be HEI. We just stick it in there, we put a couple wires to it, boom, we're done. That's it. That's simple. And that's what it had in there anyway. So this one was like 70 bucks with everything in it and all the wires and everything. And so that'll get us everything in there right now. So let's drop it in. What we've gone ahead and done is chosen this as our number one. So this will sit, number one will be here. And so what we need to do is make sure the rotor lines up with that number one spot. But as you can see, our teeth are angled, so we kick back a little bit. Oh, I do believe we need a new starter solenoid. I am also going to go ahead and remove the voltage regulator because we'll probably have to replace that. Got our new starter solenoid. Got some new spark plugs, and we'll just match it to the gap that was already in the car here. Let's throw them in. Let's get all our wiring right. And then I guess we have to figure out a fuel system, probably. Let's see if this thing's gonna run. Probably noticed us throwing on this spread bore adapter, and that's because the lifted wrench arrow just so happened to have that. And that means it wants us to use the spread bore off of it. That's the only carburetor we have offhand that is anything functional And so we're gonna give it a try. You can see we've got the tackiest wires literally ever stuck on there, but hey, they were cheap and they came with the distributor. Carburetor's almost bolted in. For some reason, this thing still is pumping gas. Don't ask me why or how, but I'm gonna hook a fuel line to the fuel pump, put a new fuel filter on it, run it to the carburetor. Let's see if we can get this thing to pop off. I think it's time we give this thing a try. Obviously, there's still a lot we need to address. We want to go ahead and change the oil, but I do want to see if it'll at least pop off to begin with and make sure anything there is even salvageable. You see our battery in place. We've got the ground and the hot connected to the new starter relay here. Here's our jumper wire going to that HEI, which we can just connect to the positive. Been fussed at about it enough that I went ahead and got a trigger. Instead of using a screwdriver, a pair of needle nose or something, it was all of $10 to buy that thing, so. Sheesh. And it's already slap fuel. I just said slap fuel. I don't know what in the world. Where is this coming from? Gas?
Out of one jet.
Ooh, I'm so nervous about, I don't know how. This thing is rattling apart. Dude! Are you flipping kidding me? There's no way I would have ever believed that this darn thing would run. What? This thing is rattling apart. I had a feeling we'd get some chocolate milk just because of that moisture, but the reason I went ahead and ran it is because it gets stuck in so many valleys and stuff. And so we wanted to verify oil pressure, a little bit of water. That's in the realm of water in a motor. It's not like it was slap full. It doesn't take much to make chocolate milk, but I wanted to cycle it through to try to get it all together so we can drain the oil, get most of the water out. We'll get fresh in there and some run time. It'll start to evaporate. The reason I know that is I was a boat mechanic. We did sunk boats, we did sunk jet skis, and what you had to do, you change the oil once or twice or 3 or 12 times till you had a little bit of moisture left in there, and you just had to run it and it would evaporate back out of there. So let's go ahead, jack this thing up, drain that oil, and get some fresh in it. A little milkshake machine here. Oh, yummy. Whoever put those lines right there? Ford.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's mostly water.
Got a good bit, don't it?
No, it's not bad.
Oh my.
Yummy. Before we run it more, we obviously need to run it enough to evaporate what's in there. And so one big thing here, we need to take care of some of this cooling system. At least get our water pump dealio taken care of here. That clutch is gone, isn't it? Somehow the lower radiator hose is holding because, as you can see, there's coolant in here. We got to do the elbow and the hose here, but we are going to go ahead and pull that thermostat housing because the thermostat is already prone to having issues. You know, thermostats are prone to, after age and stuff, and a good bit of heat, having issues. We know that one's probably warped up and just frozen solid. So let's go ahead and pull it. I've got a new 160 thermostat to put in it, new gasket, get our hoses on, get it topped off, we'll try to run it a bit more. Hopefully as we run it, you could tell how this thing ran. It was 3 cylinders, 4 cylinders, 6 cylinders, maybe 7. And that's just all that water and moisture clearing back out of those cylinders. I'm sure just putting out the fire on those spark plugs. So hopefully once we start getting some temp in it, everything will start smoothing out and we'll really get to hear this thing. Surprisingly, the water pump still seems to work. This power steering pump actually does work, but might need some love. And the alternator is not happy. So what we're going to attempt is the same thing we did on the 350 in the Ranchero and put one single belt from there to there so we can at least have a cooling system. Twisting down in the bottom. No, it's breaking it. It's gonna break. Okay, that belt did not find a belt, so here is our temporary solution until we can figure out the rest of our accessories. Let's fire this thing back up. Let's see if we can keep it running now and start evaporating some of the moisture out of the cylinders and out of our oil. Too much fuel, I think. Come on, baby. Should we choke it? There you go. Just letting it sit here and idle and get up to temp. Condensating. That's what we wanted to do. You can see the oil's getting a lot clearer as that water evaporates out of it. Man, does this car sound good. Lopity, 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 lope. Something majestic about a burnt up Comet sitting here loping away.
Yeah, well, it's got a lot better.
Engine sounds great. Go ahead. Dad's gonna try to put this thing in gear. Z-bar's functioning.
Nah, maybe not.
There you go. Don't let it. Oh, no clutch.
No.
Oh. No clutch. No clutch. Obviously that clutch got burnt up, so definitely gonna have to drop it. I'm sure it's just a mess in that bell housing, but The Z-bar is functioning, so we should be able to make that happen in our next video. Well, that is going to wrap it up, and all I can say is wow to the incredibly detrimental power of fire and the resilience of these old small block cast iron motors. This thing hadn't gone through Copart as quick as it did after the fire, and we weren't able to get it and get into it as quickly with as much water was in the oil, in the cylinders. I think before long this thing probably would have been, we wouldn't have been able to get it to run, but we were, and it actually runs and sounds really good. It's pretty cool having a relatively healthy motor running here. You know, we don't get the opportunity, most of the stuff we have and mess with this stock. So it's cool to hear one loping and sounding pretty good, but obviously we still have I think the next thing is try to drive this thing. You know, it's burnt beyond restoration. The panels are so warped and so bad, but as far as the bottom side of the car, it's still really solid, and I don't see a safety issue with attempting to drive this thing. So I think our next step, we definitely have to drop the transmission. That clutch is just completely smoked, I would assume. Bushings, brakes, tires, and let's try to drive this thing for the first time. But if you enjoy this kind of stuff, bringing stuff like this back to life, be sure to subscribe button, notification bell, because that's all that Dad and I do, is rescue, I don't want to say forgotten, because I doubt this car was forgotten. You know, this was somebody's pride and joy, and it's sad to see it this way. We're glad we had the opportunity to get the thing to run again. But if you have followed along, we really do incredibly appreciate all the love and support, y'all, because it's what gives us the ability to be able to do this kind of stuff. But that's going to wrap it up. Peace out, and catch you all on the flip side.